Lately, I've been having this recurring dream. I'm going to a bass tournament, I'm checking into a hotel, I'm arriving at the host school, and I do not have my speech. Like, I do not have it. I hadn't prepared it. And I'm telling myself, well, there is still time before the flights, right? There is like a day or several hours. I still can come up with something. Right, I'll do this. Later. I wake up frightened, knowing this is a problem that I must eradicate. No, not nightmares of doing best, of course, but something that had caused them. Something that is like a weed that grows and grows and grows. And the more you let it grow, the more harmful it becomes. I'm talking about procrastination. In order to help myself overcome it, right now I will split this task into several parts and explain the definition, the reasons, the science, and the solutions. Procrastination is defined by the Oxford Dictionary as an act of delaying something that you should do, usually because you do not want to do it. It is something that everybody have come across at least several times in their lifetime. A recent study held by Darius Forex estimated that 88% of the workforce procrastinate at least 1 hour a day, and the American Psychological Association claims that up to 95% of college students procrastinate on their schoolwork. Even though the statistics vary, it is unarguable that the problem is widespread. As follows, each day millions of people postpone billions of tasks, opportunities, chances to do more. We postpone life. And there inevitably come the negative effects: losing money, health impairment, feeling bad for not having done it earlier, spending sleepless nights with panic attempts to do all the work in the last moment. Of course, there may be some positive effects as well. Angela Shin-Chun-Chu and Jin Nam Choi have even distinguished a good type of procrastination known as active procrastination. It is when a person postpones doing a scary, big, important task by focusing on easier ones first. For example, instead of calmly preparing this oratory for a month or so, I've been doing all of my homework and have completed several personal projects. Then, in the last moment, I've got the adrenaline and sat down and did it, without sleeping. So I still think it would have been better if I'd done this earlier. It's fascinating how a procrastinator's brain always finds a reason to avoid the unpleasant work. Why does it happen? Why can't we control ourselves and follow Mark Twain's famous advice to eat a leapfrog first thing in the morning? Chris Bailey indicates 6 procrastination triggers in his book, The Productivity Project. He points out that a task encourages procrastination when it is boring, difficult, frustrating, unstructured or ambiguous, lacking in personal meaning, or lacking in intrinsic rewards. The thing is that this exact type of tasks requires most dedication, time, and effort. And what do you do when you have such an impudently demanding task? You ignore it, and you go and do something else instead. Soon you feel remorse and want to give it a chance, but you end up doing something else again. Meanwhile, you're hosting an exciting battle in your brain. The opponents are the prefrontal cortex and the limbic system. The limbic system is our pleasure center. It is primal and it makes us do what we instinctively want to do or what we're used to doing. Take a nap, watch a couple of videos, chat with your friends. Feel comfortable, it says. On the other side, the prefrontal cortex, which is a newer section of our brain and is responsible for logical thinking, stands up for its influence and yells, "Do it! You have your goals, you have your future, just do it!" And it seems they never stop fighting, each defending its own motives. The good news is that we people are not alone. Procrastination is also observed in animals. It was defined by a Dutch biologist, Nicholas Timbergen, as displacement activity. The Encyclopedia Britannica explains it as an act inappropriate for the stimulus that evoked it. For example, grooming, scratching, or eating instead of attacking another animal or fleeing from danger. I'm sure that if they had Instagram or something, they could use it as well. You may say, yes, animals do so because they're animals and they rely on their instincts more than humans do, so what's the problem with us? I thought we were conscious beings or something. That's right, but regardless of our consciousness, we are terrible at imagining consequences and the future as a whole. Have you ever delayed a task and imagined how fast and easily you would complete it the next day? Well, this is simply because you don't really imagine yourself. An American psychologist, Hal Hershfield, proved it with his research on brain activity. The research participants went into an MRI scanner and it demonstrated that thinking of themselves would trigger one zone in their brain, while thinking of themselves in the future would trigger another one, the same which would be triggered by thinking of another person. And we all know that other people always have more time and self-control and willpower, so we just leave the hard work for them, not having a clue that tomorrow they can be even more tired and not willing to be productive than today. So, what are the steps towards helping your future self? Firstly, be more conscious about your future possibilities. Learn to feel the connection between you now and you tomorrow. If you're making up excuses today, why won't you be able to do the same later? Secondly, don't let the 6 triggers affect your productivity. Make working on boring tasks more interesting by doing them in a comfortable place, accompanied with your favorite music and a cup of coffee. If a task looks difficult, break it into several definite parts and try to deal with the hardest one first. The rest will be likely to get clarified afterwards. Working on frustrating routine tasks requires a lot of patience, so you can dilute them with something you like. For example, after half an hour of studying, take 20 minutes to grab a snack and play a game. Unstructured tasks can be planned carefully. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3, and with serious approach and crossing out the completed steps, they will be done easily. If a task doesn't seem to have any personal meaning for you, you can in fact make it something of a part of a big plan, an instrument which can help you prove your value in the future. And for the unrewarding tasks, don't be shy, you can always reward yourself with your favorite food or a new acquisition after completing it. The last, the most important, and the most effective way to stop procrastinating is to start doing. Seriously, this is the hardest step to take, but once it's taken, everything turns out to be a lot easier. Summing it all up, we see that procrastination is quite the weed. In order to pull it out of your life, however, don't get stuck on the fear of failure, but focus on the pleasure you'll get after doing what must be done. The pleasure when you realize that you have put all the books in your bag before going to bed, or that you have bought a birthday present for your best friend 2 months ago, or that you have written and learned your oratory not before the first flight, but a couple of weeks before the tournament. The pleasure of removing tasks from your schedule as soon as possible. So pull the weed and get that thing done today.